What's good, people? How you doing out there in YouTube land? How's everybody doing? You watch some wrestling this week? That's what's up. It was pretty good, wasn't it? How y'all doing? It's your boy, Big Chris, the Compton Animator, and I'm here again this week to give you another review. So, we're going to talk about WWE Raw, October 14th, 2013. A pretty good show this week. Pretty good. So let's get into it. The first thing that we had was HBK, Shawn Michaels, came out and he was basically, talking about his whole, what do you call it, his whole thing that he's doing now. So, he's refereeing the Hell in a Cell match, the WWF Championship Hell in a Cell match, and he was talking about how he trained Daniel Bryan. He's cool with Daniel Bryan. Triple H is his best friend, so it's a conflict on both ways. But he hates Randy Orton, so he has the friendship on both sides and the hate. So he's basically a neutral person. So he was talking about that, and I like how he's started calling himself HB Shizzle now. Something I love about HBK is that he's always been a wigger at heart. So, that's a pretty funny thing right there for me. So yeah, and especially this is good because the whole him special guest refereeing, because now we don't get no bullshit like we got at Battleground. So after that, after his little cool little promo at the beginning, Randy Orton comes out, and Randy Orton is basically talking about HBK's nothing, and he better not screw him over, and that HBK done nothing in his career but screw people over, and because of the screw job against him and Bret Hart, and that Shawn Michaels is just mad at Randy Orton because Randy Orton is better than Shawn Michaels, and that his legacy is going to be better than Shawn Michaels. So that was a pretty okay segment. I like Randy Orton here because I like Randy Orton as a heel when he plays his angry heel side. I was watching a wrestling match with Randy Orton and John Cena, and them in a Hell in a Cell, I think, and Randy Orton looked vicious as fuck in that match, and I was like, okay, we need more of that Randy Orton here, and we started to see snippets of it, but hopefully we get more of that. So Randy Orton's basically talking about that, and he was saying that if, I think it was either Randy Orton or Shawn Michaels, was one of them was saying that, like, if you touch me, it was Shawn Michaels saying that if you touch me, Randy, I'm gonna super kick you, and Randy started laughing and stepped back, and then he was going for the RKO, and Shawn Michaels kind of deflects it with a super kick, but they both miss, and I like the kind of little standoff that they had, and this came to the Miz rushing Randy Orton and attacking him from behind, and I like that part because the Miz needs a little bit more anger into him to either be an angry heel or angry face. So, that little part was really good, and I like Miz, when he's angry, and it led into their match with the Miz versus Randy Orton. So that was a cool little segment right there and going into this match. And it was a pretty okay match. The Miz was very angry in this match, and I love it when he shows his anger because he moves quicker, he looks more furious, and he does better wrestling when he plays a character, as an angry character in the ring. When he's all happy and playful, his wrestling sucks. But when he does this, he's a good character. Randy Orton ends up winning the match because the Miz gets distracted by the Wyatt family who appear on the stage. They lights black out, and then it come back on, and the Wyatts were on the stage, and he gets distracted, and Randy Orton rolls up the Miz. So pretty okay match, and I like the distraction. Then after that, you had Bray Wyatt cutting a promo on the Miz, and Bray Wyatt was basically talking about how the Miz survives off of his fame. He loves his fame so much, and he does everything for his fame. The movies, the guest appearances, the interviews, and all that stuff. And that Bray Wyatt's going to use his fame against him, and he's going to teach the Miz a lesson. He's going to bring the Miz down. So, I love that part. I love when Bray Wyatt's on the mic, and people were trying to do the what chance on Bray Wyatt, and his mic skills are so good that you can't even get that on him. So, that was pretty good, and I liked the whole little, like, he was talking and then he stopped, started laughing, and the screen just cut with the little mask thing, just So that was, pretty good segment, pretty good opening, and pretty good match. And, I liked all that to open up the show. Next, we have Santino Marella versus Fandango. To me, this was kind of a rematch or like a match leading up to from what they did on NXT, to where Fandango and Summer Rae was facing off against Santino Marella and what's the chick's name? I can't remember her, Emma, and they had a pretty good match on NXT. But this match on Raw with Santino and Fandango was pretty okay. It was a filler match, but it was an okay filler match. The match ended with Santino trying to he was setting up for the Cobra and getting ready to strike, and Fandango moves out the way, and Santino almost hits what's her chick name, Summer Rae, and he's scared to hit the girl, so it kind of backfires on him with Fandango rolling up Santino for the win, which was pretty cool right there. And Santino has some nice little funny spots in this match. He was doing the mocking Fandango's dance, started doing this and shit, and that was pretty fun. So I like this match for that. If anything, had a little comedy bits in it. So yeah, filler match. It was an okay filler match. Next we had Brad Maddox and Paul Heyman backstage, and they was basically talking about Paul Heyman wants a stipulation for CM Punk cheating at Battleground. So Paul Heyman wants a stipulation at the next pay-per-view, and he wants it to be a handicap match. And Brad Maddox was like, no, we need this to be fair. So Brad Maddox said, okay, we're going to have a a beat the clock series. So it's going to be Ryback versus R-Truth and CM Punk versus Curtis Axel. Whoever beats the clock wins. So it was a pretty cool setup to that match and stuff like that. Next was 3MB versus Los Matadors. Not too much I really want to say about this. Los Matadors was funny here. The Bull was funny here, but we've seen this almost 4 times now, and I'm really starting to not care about Los Matadors right now. I mean, I want to care about them so badly because, a good tag team is a good tag team. And, they're Epico and Primo. And, they're really good in the ring. They had a lot of really good spots here. But it's not too much there with them just facing 3MB. There's so many other heels. I mean, just not heels, but tag teams in the WWE right now. Turn the Usos heel. You can just face them against faces, We have a few tag teams that are tweener and stuff like that, or you can face them against, like they did with on SmackDown, where they put them against, who was it? The Los Locals, which was Ricardo Rodriguez in a mask and what's the boy's name? Jason Kidd or Tyson Kidd in a mask. So they could have did something like that too. I mean, you can put Los Locals as a jobber squad. And, because nobody knows who they is but the people who follow wrestling hardcore would know who they is in a mask. But, let them be a jobber squad. They can go against each other, mix it with 3MB and mix it with one more tag team. Or you tag up to, bullshit heels right now. And you have a match like that. But, like I said, mediocre match. Los Matadors win. A couple funny spots here, but nothing to it. Next, we had a segment with Triple H. And Stephanie McMahon came out, and Stephanie cut a promo saying how she's ashamed of the audience, she's ashamed of Big Show, and Big Show's going to we're going to get our revenge on the Big Show, and people want to put down Triple H and say that, he's been knocked out and that, he's nothing no more. And, she was like, do you know who he is? He's the cerebral assassin. He's the game. And Triple H, and I like that part because, how she put him up, and Triple H is going there and just standing there looking like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm bad. So I love that. And then Triple H cut a nice little promo saying that if you want us to be the bad guys, then fuck it, we're going to be the bad guys. So I like that whole little thing, and it's transferring them to full heels, and this is where they need to be. I didn't like how they were tweener at some points and not heels at some points. Triple H and Stephanie need to be in full heel. So yeah, after that, Triple H was basically saying that if anybody disobeys him, he's fucking them up, basically. And if any wrestler starts chanting yes, they're going to get it. So, the crowd starts popping and chanting yes, and he was looking pissed off. And then Daniel Bryan comes out, stands on the stage, and starts to chant yes. And him and Triple H just have this stare down while Daniel Bryan's chanting yes. And then out of nowhere, Alberto Del Rio comes out and hits what's the boy's name? Daniel Bryan. So I like this a lot. I like that you have Alberto Del Rio, who's the world champion, kind of hitting the guy who's either going to be or is fighting for the WWE champion. And I like just having Alberto Del Rio. I like Alberto Del Rio as a character when they do something with him, and I think Alberto Del Rio is the perfect person to be in the corporation that they're having. Even though Randy Orton is cool, I think Alberto Del Rio is better for that role. So I like that little scene here, and I like having Alberto Del Rio beat him up and then start chanting yes, leading Triple H into chanting yes. So that was a pretty cool segment. Next was the Beat the Clock match, first starting with Ryback versus R-Truth. The one thing I like here was R-Truth running around the ring and trying to evade Ryback and hitting his moves. The thing I didn't like about this match was Ryback. Ryback did not look monster heel in this match. Not even him to be monster heel, just a big, strong, guy in this match. His moves wasn't hard enough. He didn't move quick enough. He just looked lazy and tired. And this is the thing with the Ryback character. He's not really hitting those, the things that I want him to hit, the things that I know he can do. He's not doing it, The in-match stuff that he was doing at the beginning of his Ryback character, he was aggressive in the ring. He had the Feed Me More chance that was giving him pop. And, there was stuff that he was doing was quick, it was fast, it was hard hitting. But he was shitty on the mic. Now that he's getting better on the mic and he has Paul Heyman on his side, he's shitty in the ring. And I'm like, dude, you got to find a way to get those two linking. Goldberg, even though he was pretty whatever on the mic, he was good in ring as far as his big guy persona. Brock Lesnar was whatever on the mic, but he always came off as hard hitting in the ring. And Ryback is just not doing this right now. So, hopefully him and CM Punk have a good match at Hell in a Cell, because, I don't know. But Ryback ends up winning, and he wins with a time of 5 minutes, 44 seconds, and CM Punk has to beat that. So, next we get, let's see, Brie Bella comes to backstage and goes to, I think Stephanie asks her to come there, and Stephanie tells Brie Bella that, that she doesn't like what her boyfriend's doing type shit, and because of this, Brie Bella's going to go have a match against Tamina Snuka, and Nikki Bella can't be out there with Brie, but AJ's going to be out there with Tamina. So I like this as adding a little story to the Divas division, or at least the Divas title match, and it goes to what goes down in the match. And the next match was Real Americans versus the Tons of Funk. So whatever here. Tons of Funk is really doing nothing for me right now. When it was just the Funkasaurus, Bros Clay by himself, that was pretty cool. But other than that, it's whatever. The Real Americans did their thing here, but they're really directionless as well. I think they need to put them against Los Matadors now. So Real Americans won. Cesaro tried to do a big swing and couldn't really do it because he was too tired from this bullshit match. So this is one of the down points of the show. Next was Brie Bella versus Tamina Snuka, and surprise, surprise, this is a pretty chill match. Tamina's a good wrestler. She's a good worker. Brie Bella's a mediocre worker, bad wrestler. Tamina's the type of wrestler that makes other wrestlers look good. So because she can take hits well, she sells well, and because she can do power moves and she can pick people up and stuff like that, she can make things look good and she can make a match look good. Tamina ends up winning here, and shows her dominance, shows that she can beat down on Brie Bella, and shows that Brie Bella's really nothing towards AJ, and kind of gives Brie Bella a little bit of face, that people say, oh, we don't like how Tamina's beating down this little girl, or beating down Daniel Bryan's wife. So it was a pretty good match here, and it was a pretty good way to work the match. And even better, they had Tamina and AJ beat up on Brie Bella, and that made things even better. So those two girls are Tamina and AJ are really good heels right now, and probably the only good heels that we had in a while for the Divas division. I say ever since Karma was there. So, that was pretty chill. Next was CM Punk versus Curtis Axel, the second part of the Beat the Clock series. And I've said this so many times, but Curtis Axel's really shit. He's really shit. He's nothing. And CM Punk did his thing here. Curtis Axel basically jobbed. To me, he jobbed. Because he wasn't shit in the ring, and CM Punk was kind of jobbing as well. He was kind of putting over Curtis Axel for a bit of the match and building up Curtis Axel, but Curtis Axel's not a sight in the ring. Only thing that made this match pop was CM Punk. So CM Punk wins, beats the time, and he got to pick the stipulation, which it was going to be a handicap match with him versus Ryback and Paul Heyman. So, we'll see what happens with that at Hell in a Cell and see what they do with that for the next week and on SmackDown too. Next was Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan came to the back, and he was talking about why did what's the name Stephanie let what's that girl's name, Brie Bella, do that, and just saying Stephanie saying that Daniel Bryan needs to worry about his match and he needs to go and take care of Brie Bella and not be in the face of Stephanie McMahon. So that was a pretty good segment. And after that was the match between Alberto Del Rio and Daniel Bryan. And like I said, pretty good characters right there. And this is where they needed to be as far as this match goes. And it was a good match between Alberto Del Rio and between Alberto Del Rio and Daniel Bryan. There we go. So this is a pretty good match between them two. Alberto Del Rio with his more natural luchador mat-based style, and Daniel Bryan with his mat-based Japanese style, and that they clashed very well here. And they put on a pretty good match, and it ended with Alberto Del Rio getting a win because Randy Orton came on the screen and distracted Daniel Bryan. And I like how Randy Orton did his distraction here. He was basically standing at the door of the training room and creepingly walking into the room where Brie Bella's in there, and like he's gonna rape the bitch or something like that. So yeah, that was pretty funny, and like I don't think it was supposed to laugh, but that was funny as fuck. And Daniel Bryan runs back there and gets counted out, and then ends up getting beat up by Randy Orton. So yeah, that was a pretty good segment. Alberto Del Rio got the win here, which was a cool way. It wasn't a clean win and it wasn't a pin, so that was pretty good right there. Next was I think we had Triple H backstage with the Shield, and he was basically telling the Shield, this is going to be a DQ match, and their match coming up next is going to be a DQ match, and you better go win. I'm tired of seeing bullshit happen right now. Y'all better get your asses out there and win. So the next match was a tag team titles match between the Rhodes Dynasty, Cody Rhodes and Goldust, versus the Shield, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. And I think probably best match of the night. And we had some good matches on the show, but this was the best match of the night. Really good match. The DQ stuff worked for it, and Cody Rhodes and Goldust did very well here. The Shield did very well here, and also with them letting them play, and they didn't bring any weapons into the last. You had one chair come in, but they used the DQ nicely, and they used everything that they were doing very nicely. And I really like how this match worked out. The Rhodes end up getting the win on the match in the tag team titles. But let me talk about this. The way the match ended was Big Show came out because the Shield, the three guys, were beating on the two guys, Cody Rhodes and Goldust. Big Show came out and basically laid the room and knocked out everybody, all the Shield part of the people. And then Cody Rhodes ends up rolling up one of the Shield members and gets the win. I think it was Roman Reigns, and gets the win. So I really like that. I really like they used Big Show. They found a way to put Big Show in this, but also let the Shield look strong, and let what's the boy's name? The Rhodes Dynasty look strong here. So this is a really good match. I'm in love with the fact that they gave the Rhodes Dynasty the belts here. I think it was the best thing that they could have done right now. And this is a really good segment, and I hope this leads on to another Shield versus Rhodes family match at Hell in a Cell. And I hope this leads on to the Cody Rhodes and Goldust going forward with the belts, and probably dropping off the belts to another team after about a month or so. But it was basically great because it got the belts off of the Shield. and it happened on Raw where I think it needed to happen. I think it needed to happen quicker than later. So yeah, this is a pretty good end of the match, and Triple H ran out of there and was like kind of trying to attack the Rhodes, but they ran out and was holding the belts up all happy and shit. And Big Show was up in the crowd chanting yes. So, you know, Triple H was all pissed off in the ring. So yeah, a good match, good into the segment. And I would give this Raw a B+. What kept it from an A was I wouldn't say they were bad segments, but the filler segments. The filler here was filler that was unnecessary. The filler were okay matches, but they were very unnecessary and did nothing to forward the show. And also, they did nothing to help the crowd pop. I think what filler should do is may help the crowd move on to the next match. But, you know, let it be something that you can either miss, but it still be a good something that keeps you to stay. Because, you know, the TV crowd is there. So, you know, this is a pretty good match. I give it a B+. Pretty good show, and I give it a B+. And yeah, thank you all for watching, comments, subscribe. You can find me anywhere on the net at either BigChris145, or you can find me at Compton Animator anywhere on the net. And thank you for watching. Peace.